Good morning, Miramar, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamara G. You can check us out on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. And so happy this morning to have with us one of South Florida's very best oncologists. It is Dr. Carmen Calfa, and she is going to be one of the headlining doctors and one of the people who put all of this together, the Miami Precision Medicine 2022, Unraveling the DNA to Conquer Cancer. It's happening April 2nd at the Ritz-Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Welcome to the show, Dr. Calfa.
Thank you so much for having me, Tamara G. I'm delighted to be here.
I am so happy to have you here and so happy to talk about this topic and this subject because truly you guys are trying to eradicate cancer and trying to get rid of it once and for all. Tell us a little bit about this conference.
You're right. When you see all our, logos saying in pursuit of your cure, we really mean it. So we're really at Sylvester, we're really trying to identify cancer as early as possible. We even have a high risk and prevention program, but if the cancer happens, it's always somewhere, either in the back of somebody's mind or it's done some damage, emotionally, physically, spiritually, or so.
Right.
Unfortunately,
that's even if it doesn't happen to you personally, families have to deal with it when someone is diagnosed, right?
You are so right, Hamiji. And the survivorship definition, it's really intended to include the person from the day of diagnosis through their life, but it also includes the caregivers and the family members for the reason you just said. Wow. This is not a journey of one individual. It does affect the entire family and the entire community.
Wow.
So at Sylvester, we're really trying to step up the game. And if the cancer is really outsmarting us in those that have metastatic cancer, and that's the reason that people die from cancer, we really try to see what else can we do to really be ahead of this game and really identify, through a different approach, something that becomes more personal to every individual. And then you identify treatments that are the right treatment for the right patient at the right time, right? So precision medicine is really evolving, and that's why we're putting up the conference, not only for healthcare providers, but for patients and the patient advocates.
Well, tell us a little bit about precision medicine, because I don't think I had ever heard of that term before. So please, explain what that is.
Yeah, well, it's a newer term, definitely. Mm-hmm. And it's really looking at the genes of the individual as much as the genes of the cancer for those that are affected to really identify the biology that drives the cancer. And through that mechanism, we're really able to identify those individuals that need chemotherapy versus those that can spare chemotherapy. Those that have an advanced cancer and they're living with cancer, there are now next generation sequencing that are looking at the molecular profile of the tumors, either through liquid biopsies, meaning you're trying to find the cancer cells floating in the blood, and really just identify and use those for molecular sequencing, as much as sequencing a piece of the cancer that was removed from the primary tumor or from the metastatic site. By doing that, we are really trying to identify what mutation or what amplification or what alteration in that genomic profile is responsible or mainly responsible for the tumor growth. Mm-hmm. And if we're able to block that or be really specific with that mutation or multiple mutations that are working together to make the cancer spread, then we're able to really stop the cancer progression and sometimes make it go away completely without using a very strong chemotherapy that is so non-specific, but using really like a specific targeted intervention that is able to do more for less toxicity.
Wow. And that's amazing, because I think immediately, again, when people think cancer, they think, oh, okay, I'm going to have to do chemo. I'm going to lose all my hair. And you just mentioned that they may not even need to have chemo.
True. It's true. And, so that's what really precision medicine is, identifying those that don't need chemotherapy, because even if you give it, it's not going to change the outcome. Mm-hmm. So if it's not going to make somebody live longer or live better, you're not going to get chemotherapy for no reason. And that's another tool that we're learning through these precision medicine approaches. But the conference is really intended for those that are fighting cancer as we speak, for those that have stage 4, and they're thinking, is there anything else I can do? I have done chemotherapy, the cancer is still growing. I want to fight, I still feel good. Is there anything else right here in my backyard that I may not know about? Or is there another intervention than just chemotherapy or a treatment that is non-specific that anyone with this type of cancer will get? I'm different, right? Everybody's different.
That's
so
right.
if you're able to really find what's different in that person and really tailor that treatment to that person at the right time with the right dose, we will be winning this fight.
So if you are just tuning in, first of all, thank you for watching Good Morning Miramar. I'm your host, Tamara G. And with me, Dr. Carmen Kalfa from the University of Miami's Sylvester Cancer Center, one of the very best in our backyard as well as in the country. And there is going to be a major conference going on. It's the Miami Precision Medicine 2022, Unraveling the DNA to Conquer Cancer, happening April 2nd at the Ritz-Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Dr. Kalfa, your specialty is breast cancer. However, there are going to be oncologists there from all of the different fields, right? It's not just breast cancer.
Every cancer type, from head to toe, skin included.
Wow.
So we have neuro-oncologists, which are like specialists for brain tumors, either that are originating in the brain or they're traveling from another part of the body. We have the skin cancer experts, and then we have every other organ included. So that's in the healthcare venue, but we also have the venue for patients and advocates that I'm dying to tell you about.
Which is amazing that you guys are offering this for free to patients and their healthcare advocates. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we wanted the patients to be at the table and the advocates as well. We feel like we can learn from them as much as they can learn from us. And we also feel like many times when we see patients for second opinion, they haven't had the next generation testing done. They haven't had a liquid biopsy. They haven't heard about it. So we felt like this is a time where, you know, we can share that with our community, and the patients we want to empower them to really be their best advocates, to really look for what they need. And I feel like sometimes when you don't have anything to offer, depending on the results you're going to get, you may not want those results as a healthcare provider, right? Mm-hmm. But if there is a place where actually these precision medicine clinical trials have a home, and we have those at Sylvester, I feel like, you know, the healthcare providers around us want to partner with us for the better of our community. That's why the conference is inviting everyone that we work with day and night, from the pharmacists to nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, all specialties that are treating cancer, pediatric as well as adult cancer, mm-hmm. oncology as well as hematology. We want to be together to collaborate, to learn from each other in that day. And we're actually going to mimic a molecular tumor board. I can tell you in a second what that is. Okay. So that's from 8 to 5 on that Saturday. And for the half of the day, the patients will be interacting with some of us. It could interact with all of us. And then they're going to have special sessions that are not only about precision medicine and clinical trials, but also about survivorship, how you can live your life at its best, how every day that you try to fight to gain, you actually should make the most of it.
And you guys are providing breakfast and lunch for these patients as well. And again, this is all free of charge, happening at the Ritz-Carlton on Fort Lauderdale Beach. We are going to put up the link for people to register. It is free, but they would love for you to register just so that you'll know how many people to expect. And if you are in the medical field, you need to be signing up for this anyway. They're looking for primary care physicians to come, gynecologic oncologists, hematologists, physician's assistants, advanced registered nurse practitioners. You have nurses, members, residents, fellows. I mean, anyone that is particularly in and interested in this field. And of course, the patients and the patient advocacy groups, which it will be free for you guys, which is awesome. Because, you know, we want to get rid of cancer. And I know, Dr. Kalfa, you are doing your best with your patients. What would you say to patients who, you know, are feeling like something's wrong with their bodies and they just don't know where to turn or where to go, or should they just ignore it? I mean, it's a pain that comes and goes, you know?
So what you just said is good, because I teach them, if it's a pain that comes and goes so you can explain otherwise, it's probably okay to watch, right? You just lift up a heavy weight, or you pick up your kid that is 40 pounds and you're 5'3",
Right.
and you have back pain. You watch it, right? But if it's something, first of all, I want everybody to know their family history and their personal history. Those things count. Family history on both sides. See if it's loaded. See if it has cancer. Doesn't have to be breast. Just check it out. Know your family history on both sides of the family. That also gives you clues, right? It's a lot of breast cancer that happen in young age, or colon cancer and all that. Having a bloody stool means a lot more if everybody in the family died of colon cancer than, if you just have a hemorrhoid because you're constipated.
Right.
So number one, it's know your personal history and your family history. Number two, have a physician or a healthcare provider that you trust, and run those things by them. And if things don't make sense, look for a second opinion at every level. It doesn't have to be a breast medical oncologist unless a breast cancer diagnosis was made. But for anything else, don't just settle, right? Mm-hmm. That's my recommendation.
Right. And it's so funny because even when people come to you, Dr. Kalfa, you recommend for them to get a second opinion.
I always do, and I embrace it and I encourage them, because I know what I know. They just need to know that what I said and what I recommended is the best thing that it could ever go for. And sometimes you get the first doctor just opens up your mind to really be willing to accept the treatment. Mm-hmm. The second doctor potentially could just make that decision easier to be made. And if it's a conflicting decision and the two opinions don't match, I usually try to reconcile. I'm not letting the patient be stuck in between two recommendations that are not making sense. I'm calling the other physician. We talk about it. We review the case. And if it's really like something on the edge, sometimes even a third opinion is good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
But I don't want people to lose their time on going second and third and fourth opinion because they haven't heard what they liked. Because I've seen that a lot, and they come 3 months after a diagnosis of a very aggressive breast cancer saying, oh, everybody said chemo, I don't want to do it. That's not what I'm recommending.
Right. Okay. So if you want more information, if you would like to come to this event, it's going to be on April 2nd. It's a Saturday, thank goodness, at the Ritz-Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach, Miami Precision Medicine 2022, Unraveling the DNA to Conquer Cancer. Just Google that. You can sign up, or we're also going to have the link right here so you can see it. And definitely sign up, particularly if you are a patient or a patient advocate. They are providing it free of charge for you to come, and they'll include breakfast and lunch with that, because they, as you mentioned, Dr. Kalfa, you want the patients at the table because this is why you guys are doing this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds good.
And Tammy G, if you want to just say one more thing, I witnessed people that came to participate in one of these clinical trials. They were sent to hospice, and their wife or someone called. And they said, we heard you have this. And we have a couple of them that are going to be joining the conference. And there are many. They're not everybody. They're not the majority, but it do happen. And they're cancer-free 2 years later on no chemotherapy, on just a targeted therapy approach. So those miracles do happen. And they're living proof. And they're going to share with the whole crowd that this actually can happen.
And if you want to be one of those miracles, you need to be there on Saturday, April 2nd, because let me tell you, as you mentioned, never give up hope, never stop fighting, because we want you here. Whoever you are out there watching this, we want you here. So again, the Miami Precision Medicine 2022, Unraveling the DNA to Conquer Cancer. It is brought to you by Sylvester, of course, one of the most nationally known cancer centers right here in our very own backyard, University of Miami's Sylvester Cancer Center. And Dr. Carmen Kalfa is going to be there. Her specialty is, of course, breast cancer, but as she mentioned, there's going to be experts from all different fields dealing with cancer. So whatever your cancer may be, or whatever your family member's cancer is, please come and try to figure out if there's maybe an alternative. I did not know. I was one of those people who thought that everybody got chemo. She just told us you don't always have to get chemo, and you can cure it in other ways. So thank you, Dr. Carmen Kalfa. We certainly appreciate you being with us today, and good luck with everything on April 2nd.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for everyone that is joined, and we look forward to seeing you all on April 2nd. Thank you.
And thank you for watching us on Good Morning Miramar. I'm your host, Tamara G. Until next time, see ya.